I think we got a really good team coming in here tomorrow afternoon. Presbyterian, really respect their program, really well coached. Coach Farrell does a heck of a job. Experienced team that's going to pose a lot of problems for us in terms of their guard play, their post play. Two really experienced guards and two experienced posts that have had successful seasons prior to here and that have gotten off to a good start. One of them hasn't played yet, but we expect him to play tomorrow. So between Reddish Roan in the backcourt and Crosby James in the backcourt and Owen McCormick in the front court and Winston Hill, four really experienced players. Style of play will pose some problems for us. Very good offensive rebounding team at 16 offensive rebounds versus Citadel the other night. Number 43 in the nation last year. Offensive rebounding averaged almost 13 offensive rebounds per game. So obviously that's an emphasis for them, and we're going to have to be really good on the defensive glass to be able to keep them off that. And then a pressure defense team, a team a lot like Mercer that's going to put pressure on the basketball, pressure, not let us be comfortable running our offense. He's a very good defensive coach again, and tough team, tough defense that's going to pose a good challenge for us tomorrow.
Coach, looking back at the tape from your season opener, what surprised you, maybe good and bad, after you've had time to digest that now?
Yeah, I think, we really, looking back, when you say surprising, we actually had really good defensive possessions early in the game. And as well as Mercer shot the ball in the first half, we felt like we actually were accomplishing some of the things we wanted to on the defensive end. They made some shots that, we were probably looking back, say we were okay with them taking a contested 2 or a contested 3. But the fact is, when you let a team get going early, and we talked about this after the game, when you let them get it going early, that momentum can carry. And then all of a sudden, they were all hot making shots. We knew we would have our hands full with the big fella in there. We just didn't have an answer in terms of when they got the ball that deep. And in terms of the negative side, some of the things that we had some possessions where the ball ended up sticking too much, and that's what really caused us problems in the first half. When the ball started moving side to side in the second half, we were much better. But that's where we've really focused a lot of our practice time, is making sure that ball doesn't stick on offense. No one guy is going to get us back in the game shooting the basketball. We got to do it as a team. We got to move the basketball. We got to trust the pass, and we were much better with that in the second half.
You mentioned Crosby James. I know he had a really good three-point shooting percentage last year, I believe, is JUCO. And then this year he's also, by the stats, I haven't seen their games, but he's been able to get to the rack. How are you going to be able to kind of neutralize him and not – because it seems like he has the strength of being able to shoot the ball and drive inside.
Yeah, he's a dynamic player. He's a dynamic guard. He's very strong. He's, like you said, he shot the ball at a very high rate last year from 3. His percentage so far this year, and it's so early, we know he's a great shooter. But he's also a very strong driver. He's a very tough player. So it poses a real challenge, and we're going to have to have a game plan in place to try and take away both. That's all you can do. But that's when you face dynamic players that can score on multiple levels like he can. It's going to be a great challenge for our guards.
Coach, as you know, a lot of these games can come down to a free throw. Team missed some of those down the stretch on the season opener. How do you? Is it just something you just practice just by doing it? Is there any way to get better in the season with free throws? It seems like it's something that ECU struggled historically with.
Yeah, I don't think the historical piece is anything of note for this ball club. I think the only thing, Troy, is, you practice it, and you practice free throws. The best thing we try and do is practice pressure free throws. Our guys take a lot of reps within practice, but this time of year, practice time, you only have so much time, and you can't stay on the free throw line for an hour and a half in practice. So we try and really create pressure situations with free throws in practice, and that's what we do then. And then the guys have to put time in on their own after practice, before practice, basically when they're in the gym, when it's not practice time, shooting free throws. And we do emphasize that. There's a multi-pronged approach to it, but again, I don't think whatever free throw disparities there's been in the past has nothing to do with what happened on Tuesday night.
Saw Tabs on the bike there in the second half. Can you give us any update on how he's doing?
No, he's doing great. I think you guys will see that a lot, just to stay warm and allow his body, as he continues to get back in full game shape, that whether it's at the start of the game and he is, getting ready to come in, he'll be on the bike. And then when he comes in the game and comes back out of the game, he'll probably go to the bike. And then in the second half. So him not playing in the second half as much, or whatever the case was, has nothing to do with the bike. That's just for him to stay in shape, stay warm as he's working his way back.
Coach, it was a great celebration in the locker room after the game. Of course, your first Division I win as a head coach, first win here at East Carolina. Who'd you hear from? Anybody interesting personally after the game that you got good stories from?
Yeah, it was so awesome, and the locker room was great. Our guys were great, and everyone wants to talk about it was your first win as a head coach, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The most exciting thing about that was to win with that group of guys in there. I was way more excited about winning with that team and being a part of that competitive environment with that team and that group of guys and our student section here and our fans here than I was about it being a win for me. I think that's the least important thing, and that's really irrelevant in the whole thing. It was about winning a game with them and with this university and with the fans, but mostly the players. That's what it was about. It was their first win of all of us being together. In terms of after the game, Troy, 24 years in this, you make some great friends, whether it's basketball friends or family or friends that you have nothing to do with basketball. And I feel fortunate to have heard from a lot of them, and it really was awesome. My family was here. That was the most important thing. My mom was in the stands, and obviously my family and my brother was here. So that was fantastic. But probably a neat thing was as I was walking to the press conference, I was on the phone with Coach Barnes walking there, and he called, and he got me. He called, and we had a chance to talk real quick headed into the press conference. So that was pretty cool.
Anything else?
Thanks, Coach.